Hello, hello, coming to you with another story. And actually, there's two stories, but they are of similar information. And they were two females, and they were speaking out against biological males in female locker rooms at the YMCA. Now, one of the females is being accused of hate speech for speaking out and exposing an unclothed male in the female locker room with his male anatomy showing. And then the other female is protesting biological males in the YMCA girls' locker room and was removed from the swim team. Now, this 16-year-old female witnessed an unclothed male in the YMCA women's locker room. Okay? She witnessed this, and so therefore, she went to the media with it. She gave an interview about a transgender male in the female's locker room. She says she encountered him naked, unclothed. Rebecca Phillips says she saw a naked male in the women's locker room at the local YMCA in Santee, California. Now, I know where Santee is at because I used to live in San Diego County at one point, and I used to go to Santee to go shopping. And that used to be a very, very racist town. But guess what? This is not about being, racist at this point. This is about a transgender male, biological male, in the female locker room with his male anatomy hanging, showing. He was unclothed, you guys. And a teenage girl, she asserted that she encountered this biological male who identifies as a transgender. And he was in there unclothed, right? She's 17 years of age, and she recounted in a statement the incident to the Santee City Council. So she went to the media, she went to the city council, and she says she is a regular visitor of the Santee YMCA, where she says she frequently exercises after work. So when she gets off work, she goes and exercises. Now she says, as I was showering after my workout, I saw a naked male in the women's locker room. I immediately went back into the shower, terrified, and hid behind their flimsy excuse for a curtain until he was gone. In her emotional statement, Phillips said that her concerns was dismissed by YMCA staff and that she was made out to be the problem. She told the council, when I asked the YMCA management what the policy was regarding transgenders, they confirmed that the man I saw was allowed to shower wherever he pleased. She continued, I was made to feel as though I had done something wrong when I talked to people at the YMCA. Phillips claims that her father tried to contact management repeatedly before speaking with the branch's director of membership, who assured him that his daughter was not in any danger. Now, let me stop right here. Let me go up and get back to this because, first of all, women have rights as well. And if you recall one of my videos of an 18-year-old out of Martin Luther King High School in Riverside, California, she came out and spoke. She's an 18-year-old senior. And she said that they never have asked us how we feel. They're just out here making decisions, passing laws, but they never have asked us how we feel. And she says, and we don't agree with it. And we feel violated. And as a woman, I feel that that would be a violation. Because there was a time I was at a store, I won't say which store, and there was a man in the female fitting room with his wife. And we all, other females came out of the fitting room to notify that store's, management about this, the staff. And they told him to get out of the locker room, to come out of there, because he shouldn't have been in there, anyway. And so here we are dealing with this same silliness, foolishness. And the thing is that they're trying to make right wrong and wrong right. And you see, there's a lot of backward stuff going on in this world. A lot of stuff going on. And we see that if you go and read the Bible in the Old Testament, it's already been prophesied and predicted. But a lot of people don't read the Old Testament. There are people have, but there's a lot of the New Testament believers refuse to read it. They want to be in the New Testament, but they don't understand what's really going on. And they haven't prepared. See, the Old Testament prepares us for what's to come, right? But a lot of people are not prepared, and some people just don't give a care. They don't care what's going on and that, Jesus is going to return. And we don't know the day, time, and hour. But anyway, nevertheless, She says, as I was showering after my workout, I saw a, naked, unclothed male in the women's locker room. I immediately went back into the shower. She was terrified, people. I would have been terrified too. You don't know what he was up to. See, you got people that are saying, these is male people, are saying that they are transgender, but then they can go either way. And we don't know what their mindset is, what their intention is, because we have seen men that going to prison, got convicted, they're being being in prison, and they say, "Oh no, I identify as a female." They are in there with the female prisoners making babies. Okay? Making babies with female inmates. If you recall a couple of those stories. You know what I'm saying? And so I would have been terrified also. And so she said she hid behind her flimsy excuse for a curtain until he was gone. She said in her emotional statement, and I believe, and she's a young lady, 17. She said that her concerns was dismissed by YMCA staff and that she was made out to be the problem. See, they want right to be wrong and wrong to be right. They're making her out to be the problem for speaking up about her feeling violated and emotional and terrified, and they're making her feel like she was wrong for having those feelings. Those are natural feelings, and they're promoting that we should not, okay, let me stop right here for a second. Let me make sure I say this very clear. Now, they're giving her a hard time and making her feel like something's wrong with her, right? But they promote that we should make the LGBTQ plus people feel like something is wrong with them. We're supposed to make them feel comfortable and show all the love and attention to them in a nurturing, harmonious manner. But then when it comes to female rights being violated, biologically born female rights being violated, and when you speak up as a biologically born female, then you are made to be the villain. You're made to feel like you're starting something, you're the problem, and I disagree with that. We're all humans, and we have to remember to practice humanity. And I don't care what your lifestyle is, because I know that God was not confused when he created Adam and Eve. I know God wasn't confused when he created man and woman. He was very clear in Genesis. You can go read it. You can actually read all of Genesis, but you know what? It's some good from the beginning, Genesis chapter 1, verse 1 through 31. And you can go and read chapter 2 and chapter 3. God was not confused. He was not confused at all about his creations. It was God's ideal, and it's still God's ideal. And so we have a right to speak out. I'm not here to condemn, and I'm not here to hate on anyone. Let me make that clear, even to YouTube. However, we do have a freedom of expression and freedom of speech. But when you start violating someone else's rights, and you have no regard for that when they speak out or come and bring it to your attention in a harmonious, humanitarian manner, and you still brush them off, there's a problem in this society here. There's a problem because they want to make wrong right, right wrong. You see all this stuff that's going on. It's like we're living in the last days. You see that it's already been predicted and prophesied in the Old Testament, and folks there are some people out here that they don't want to abide by that. They don't want to believe in that, and that's fine. You don't believe in that, but we still have rights, period. As women, biologically born women, we have rights. And if you recall the video I did on the 18-year-old out of Martin Luther King High School in Riverside, California, she spoke out about it. And she said they've never asked us. They just passed these laws, but they've never asked us if we're okay with it. And she said, and you know what? We're not okay with it. Because this happened at a high school where he was walking around in the women's female locker room, young ladies locker room, the girls' locker room at school, at this high school, with no clothes on, without any clothes on. And he was also got into it with another female, and he was harassing females. See, this can't continue to go on. And we do need to speak out about it. We need to bring more awareness to it. Because when you have men pretending or wanting to be something they're not, to get notoriety, to get certain special protections, or even to get fame and fortune, even in women's sports. And I'm going to get to that too in this video. Then there's a problem with that, because some of them are really not who they say they are. They're just saying that for certain benefits. Do you understand me? Certain benefits. So she said in her emotional statement that her concerns was dismissed, and she was the problem. And when she asked YMCA management what the policy was regarding transgenders, they confirmed that the man that she saw was allowed to shower wherever he pleased. Wherever he pleased. He was, you know, allowed to shower wherever he pleased. Like I said, and she said they made her feel like something was wrong with her when she talked to the people at the YMCA. And her father even tried to, talk to them, contact management repeatedly before speaking with the branch director of membership, who assured him that she was not in any danger. She doesn't know if she's in danger or not. We don't know the mindset of these people. And if they're confused about who they are, what's to say they're not going to be confused about the actions that they, put up on somebody else? Who's to say that they're not going to try to harm someone because of their confusion? See, God's word is not about confusion. God wasn't confused in who he created. He was not. And you got these people that are passing laws to make people think that what God did was not a good idea, and that everybody should just go along with it. But I'm not easily persuaded, because I'm not just going along with that. Because if I feel violated, I'm going to speak up immediately. I'm going to say something about it. You see what I'm saying? And how are you saying that it's hate speech for somebody to speak up about them feeling violated? And they speak out about it in a non-threatening, violent manner, because it was non-violent, non-threatening. And then you accuse them of hate speech because they spoke out about it. What kind of world? No, it ain't what kind of world. What type of people are in this world? And some of the people in these positions and in office are educated people. Really? It's like they're educated fools. Because there is no confusion. Hallelujah, somebody. When a man takes a woman, we talked about, that's in the Bible. When he went into her, it was no confusion. There was no confusion about who the man was, who the woman was, and then the woman, soon the wife, became impregnant, right? There's no confusion. So why is there so much confusion now about the anatomy of a female and the anatomy of a male? There are some agendas being pushed here. But anyway, the YMCA of San Diego County gave an official statement on the incident. You know, they always don't give an official statement. They don't mean what they say. They just put out a statement. You know, that's just like when you teach in a class and you don't believe what you're teaching, but you're good at it and you know the information, so you teach it to your class. You teach it to the students, but you really don't believe it. There are people teaching theology and biblical, biblical classes, but they really don't believe in God. They're just good at what they teach. You know, they know the information, and they're getting a paycheck. You know, you can go and tell somebody something all day long about the Bible. The devil knew the Bible, but guess what? He not practicing it. He was kicked out of heaven. You know, Lucifer. You know what I'm saying? And he can come in all different disguises. But that don't mean he believe. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, he believe in making people a victim and going around victimizing other people. That's what Satan believes. And he comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And we have some folks in this world that's trying to kill, steal, and destroy God's people. Trying to kill, steal, and destroy. Even if you don't believe in God, you believe what? And you could be Muslim, whatever religion you are. The devil is still busy, and he's still trying to kill, steal, and destroy, and place doubt in your mind and confuse you. God is not about confusion. Spirituality is not about confusion. Now, religiosity could be, you could be confused because different churches practice different religion and different religious, you know, practices. But however, if you're a spiritual person, you will never be confused when you're spiritual, because you know exactly what the Holy Spirit is guiding you, leading you, who, and you're reading the word. And this is just so madness that we keep seeing this go on. And so they're going on with their little, little official statement. We are aware of a situation involving two members in the locker room of the Santee YMCA earlier this month. The confidence and safety of all our members is our highest priority. That's a lie. Because if it was your highest priority, you would have women only, men only, and then maybe a transgender restroom. And that's who, all the transgenders can use that restroom. Because you're pushing a specific agenda which violates another gender's rights. And that's what you're doing. And this is the problem. They want to be right when they're wrong. Because if really female only, male only, transgender only, that's how it should be. That's how it should be. Men, biologically born men, should not be in female restrooms, locker rooms, any type of, should not be in they safe spaces. That's a safe space where you should be able to go into a locker room, do what you need to do, and come out. And you should not be in there feeling terrified, feeling afraid, happen to hide, even more than you're already, behind a flimsy shower curtain. You shouldn't have to go through all that. And then when you bring it to their attention, they want to make you out to be the bad person. That's traumatizing. That's traumatizing. And so I'm speaking out with them. I'm bringing these stories because this is, it needs to be, we need to be more, there needs to be more awareness. This needs to get to a higher level. You know what I'm saying? A higher level. As I do my part on the back end off of YouTube. There's a lot of stuff I do off of YouTube because I am passionate about a lot of different things. And this violation of people's rights, whether it's in the judicial system, criminal reform needs to happen. All that, I'm passionate about that. So I try to do the work. It's not easy, you all. I'm going to tell you, if you get involved in trying to take, fight for rights and change laws and be a part of that and reach out to certain people and entities, it is not easy. It's not. But you know what? If you are doing that, you get an A for effort because it is definitely not easy. But we can't give up. We cannot give up. We got to keep pushing through. Hope. Don't ever give up hope. So they go on to say, as a community-focused organization, we strive to meet the needs of all individuals. We recognize that birth and gender identity are sensitive subjects. It's sensitive. It's sensitive. It is. We rely on subject matter experts, laws, and guidelines established by the state of California to ensure our policies are welcoming and respectful for all community members. Well, if that's the case, then you need to make a separate locker room for transgender people because it's not welcoming for a biologically born male showing his anatomy in a female locker room, and you have a sign that says female locker room up there, and they are not a female. No matter what they think in they head, a lot of people are delusional that are thinking like that. If you think like that, you're delusional. But at the end of the day, you are not making it a safe and respectful and welcoming place if you have a biologically born male that can enter into a female restroom and it clearly says female locker room. You are not making it a welcoming and respectful, safe place for anyone. Period, point blank. And when you say that you rely on subject matter experts, well, let me tell you, ain't nobody an expert when they are foolish. Because anytime a person can sit here and say that a biologically born male is a female with a male anatomy, that's not no expert to me. That is a dumb, foolish person that's just trying. I don't know. They going along with what it is now. You see what I'm saying? Because you can't possibly be an expert. You cannot possibly be an expert when the writing is on the wall. You cannot be an expert when the proof is in the pudding. Now the proof is in the pudding that this is a biologically born male, and y'all relying on quote unquote subject matter experts. Really? Instead of relying on God, you relying on subject matter experts. Or matter of fact, instead of relying on the anatomy itself, biological anatomy itself, you relying on somebody to tell you that this is a female when they really a male. You know, man, woo-wee. And then laws and guidelines. But we already know what God has created. I would be relying on God. See, there's some things you just can't, some things you might be able to go along with. But this kind of stuff, I'll never rely on subject matter, quote unquote, experts. You know what I'm saying? When they sitting up here helping people pass laws, politicians pass laws that make no sense. They know it doesn't make sense, and they trying to confuse everyone, but I'm not confused. And I'm telling you all, people, don't let nobody make you confused of what God has already done. God has already done it, and you cannot make me confused, and you should not be confused. And they're talking about SME. You know what SME, subject matter experts. That right there, they need to remove that. That sounds dumb. That sounds very dumb. I see laws and guidelines you have to establish, but you need to establish some guidelines and make a new locker room. That needs to be an additional locker room for transgenders. That's how you create a welcoming and respectful, safe place for community members, by creating a separate locker room. Stop trying to be so caught up in your own personal views that you cannot see the writing on the wall, that you cannot see the real deal here. You know what I'm saying? And so they go on to say, as part of this commitment to ensure all individuals feel comfortable, we are reviewing locker room floor plans across all facilities within our association. Our goal is to ensure that everyone has access to additional privacy if desired and needed. And I will be contacting that YMCA today and letting them know that they need to create a separate locker room. Now, whether they go along with it or not, but I will be reaching out to them. This is because, I mean, what if I went to that YMCA and was a member and I had to encounter foolishness like this? You see what I'm saying? Okay, so this other situation is a young lady. She actually protested about males being in the female YMCA, again, another YMCA locker room. And so guess what? She was kicked off or removed off of the swim team, and they're saying they're debunking her story. They're saying no, that's not what happened. But she says she was kicked off the swim team for protesting biological males in YMCA girls locker room. Riley Gaines praises Abigail Wheeler for being a megaphone for her female teammates. Now, a 16-year-old Illinois swimmer is accused of hate speech. So she was accused of it too, this woman, because she spoke out and she put up women rights, signs, biological women only, and safe sport. Now, she did this with a teammate to alert other girls that biological males were in the area. Now, I don't see anything wrong with letting your teammates and any other females know that there are biological males in the area. And in that area was the female locker room. And again, they need a separate locker room for these transgender men, the ones that's wanting to be women, want to take over women's sports and all that other stuff. They should have a separate locker room. So anyway, they put up these signs, which, hey, I don't foresee a problem with it. They put up these signs. Now, they put up signs and they probably shouldn't have. But you know what? Sometimes you have to step outside the box and break the policies and procedures that they have made that are in a direct violation of somebody's rights. Sometimes you have to break policy and procedure. And so and to protect others. So what they did is put up these signs to protect themselves and others when they were made aware that it was male in the female locker room. So the young lady said, I went to my coach and gladly told him that I was part of this. So she admitted that she put up the sign. She was part of this. She took responsibility for that. And he said that it was probably not the best option for me to swim with the swim team that night, and that the YMCA staff would follow up with my family. Now, she went to the media as well, Fox News, and Friends First. Both of these young ladies did this, right? That's why I said they are different stories but similar. So the local YMCA chapter communications director, however, says Wheeler left the team on her own. This is what they're saying. There have been a variety of false statements around the same issue circulated by the same individual since the past May. In this version of the story, the statements that the swimmer was removed from the Y and prevented from participating in the swim team is false. She left the swim team and the YMCA on her own. But her coach told her, she said her coach told her maybe you shouldn't swim tonight, and that the YMCA was going to get in touch with her family, which sounds like the coach might have said something like that to her, right? Abigail stood by her story Tuesday morning saying it is not true that she left on her own. She said Outkicks Riley Gaines, who has become an advocate for female athletes, told Fox and Friends First she is proud of Wheeler for raising her voice. To be only 16 years old and being in the position that you're in, faced with what you were faced with, and standing up for yourself and ultimately standing up for others. You are a megaphone for your teammates, said the University of Kentucky swimming alum. The dust-up began when Wheeler noticed two biological males in the women's locker room last April, her father told podcast host Jean Ives. According to existing claims, Wheeler and her family raised concerns about the presence of transgender athletes in the women's locker room, going to head coach Alex Tortora and the local branch's CEO to challenge the policy, but were told no action could be taken. Now, Wheeler's father also claimed requests to let trans athletes use private bathrooms and emailed the entire swim team on an updated policy were also rejected by the YMCA. Wheeler then decided to post the signs. Gaines first offered the issue some attention by sharing the story to her Twitter, pointing out that Abigail's older sister, Caitlin, also a University of Kentucky swimming alum and one of Gaines' teammates, shared a similar experience with trans athlete Leah Thomas. And you know how much controversy there was behind that. Now, Caitlin, also appearing on the show Tuesday, says she is proud of her sister for voicing her concerns. I tried to picture myself at 16 years old sharing a vulnerable story like this, and I just can't imagine myself doing that at that age. And so I just want to give a lot of credit to her for speaking out about this, she said. Like Gaines, I was also at the NCAA Division I meet back in 2022, where Leah Thomas was allowed to not only compete but change in the same locker room as many women and myself were forced to do. So it's been infuriating to hear that. After going through the experience I went through, now my little sister, who's 16 years old, is having to go through the same thing. And when she stands up for what's right and what she believes is wrong is happening, she is forced out of her swim team and banned from a YMCA of all places. Gaines, during the segment, also called out Abigail's coach for refusing to listen to the concerns of biological females while having a daughter of his own. He can't truly believe that what happened to you was right and fair and just. She said, and if he does, I think there's a separate conversation that needs to be had. Amen, somebody. You have a daughter. See, it didn't happen to his daughter yet, but wait till it happens to his daughter. If these laws don't get changed, and if something isn't done differently, wait till it happens to his daughter. See, a lot of people, they don't have a problem with stuff, and they won't get involved and speak out against it and bring awareness when it's not happening to them. And then when it happens to them, they want the same support and awareness that other people were trying to bring that they refuse to bring. And some people will even go as far as to participate in this same type of foolishness and go along with the, with the ABCs and go along with the bandwagons and the crabs in the barrel and bucket type of, mentality until it happens to their family. Then they want empathy and sympathy, and they want you to support them with a GoFundMe and crowdfunding and all this other stuff. They want you to speak up for them when they're going through it. They cannot see the forest for the trees. And let me tell you something. You have to look past the forest to see the trees to know when something ain't right. Because when you look past the forest and them trees, there's some stuff behind in them trees. And since you want to close your eyes up to the trees, wait till it happened to you. And then you're going to want people to help you get through the forest to get to those trees. Because, trees supposed to bring life and oxygen. You see what I'm saying? That's why a lot of people like trees, because it's supposed to bring oxygen, life. It gives you shade, trees, a breeze. You know what I'm saying? And so they don't care about nobody else breathing. They don't care about anybody else's oxygen. They don't care about anybody's life until it happened to them. So I'm speaking out. I'm bringing awareness, and I hope you will join in with me. Leave your respectful comments below what you think about this, because right is right, wrong is wrong. And no matter what my beliefs are, that doesn't matter. What is right is when people are violating other people's rights. And if they want to put up they want to accommodate everyone in a welcoming, sensitive, responsible, and respectful manner, then they will create separate restrooms. And I know that people have asked for these. Other people, not only just myself, have spoken out about this, but they refuse to do it because they're stuck in their own foolish, stubborn, simple-minded, dark-viewed minded ways is a lot of these people. And so they feel like their hands are tied. And they feel like, well, if I speak out, I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to this, I'm going to that. But you know what? You're going to lose your job anyway. See, when Jesus returned, it's not going to be about no jobs and none of that. None of that is going to be here anyway. So you should be trying to do what's right while you're here on earth, while you're still breathing and living. Do what's right and use common sense. Because even if you don't believe in Christ and you used to believe, or you never believed, or whatever it is, your religion, guess what? It still doesn't change that there is a man and there is a woman. And even if you don't believe, there's a lot of people don't believe, but they're with women, they have children. So come on, somebody. We're not. And I saw this comment yesterday, and this person said they were atheists. But they said, I'm atheist, but I'm starting to believe God is real. That's what they said. And I was like, that's you saying something there. You starting to believe God is real. See, sometimes stuff have to happen for some folks to change. And this person, it looked like it was a female, the name, and it said, I'm atheist. But with all the stuff they was talking, she had a long post, but she said, I'm starting to believe God is real. See, you know what I'm saying? And see, God tells us to show love. So we're not here to condemn people for what they want to do and how they want to live. That's not what this is about over here. But do the right thing. No one should be violated. And when you pass laws, the laws should be about humanity, not about one specific group. And I'm convinced that some people don't know how to do that without showing favoritism to the point where it violates other people's rights in order to, pass laws of humanity. And so, again, separate restroom for transgenders. Give it to them. But see, they don't want to, and even the transgenders, a lot of them don't want that. They want, well, I identify as a woman, so I want to go in the woman's restroom. Well, that sounds like perverted stuff to me. Very pervertish is what it sounds like to me. Because if you get the restroom, go in the restroom, use the restroom. You should not be walking around exposed like that in a female locker room, and then females are being violated and their rights are, and this is grounds for a lawsuit. And what really needs to happen is, I believe the YMCA needs to be sued by both family members. And I don't promote lawsuits, but I'm going to say this, because at the end of the day, we as biologically born females that identify as who we were born to be have rights. And that's for all of us, whether you're on a swim team, whether you're on the track team, the basketball team, running track, wherever you may be, at school, wherever, church, whatever you may be, because even some of the churches, that's a separate video. We have rights, and you cannot change. I don't care how many laws you pass, you cannot change what God has already created. He was not confused in what he created. It was his idea, and it's still a great idea. And people, educate yourself. If you go back, whether you believe in the Bible or not, and read the Old Testament, go ahead and read it. Read chapters 1 through 3. The ones that, don't know or haven't read it. I'm not talking about the ones that do know. The ones that haven't read it, don't know, gain you some knowledge. because this kind of stuff, this right here, how many of you will want to be violated if you're in a ladies' locker room or a fitting room, and this happens to you or to your female children? We have to protect everybody. And the way to do that is you create, in this case, a separate locker room for the transgenders to use. Even wherever you go, it may be expensive. In the business, they're going to have to refactor things. But guess what? Because there is no reason that anyone should be terrified in a locker room. And that's just like, and this is another thing. You know what this is doing? Now, let me say this before I get off of here. You know what this is doing? That's just like if a rapist goes into a women's bathroom, and he's been going around, in women's bathrooms, grabbing them and forcing them into a compromising position and taking what is not rightfully his, right? That's just what that is. And they're promoting it in a different way. When you let a male go into a female's locker room, you are nothing but just like the mindset of a rapist. And that's how I perceive these people that are passing these laws and allowing these men to go in these female restrooms, locker rooms. You are nothing but, and then you will incarcerate the rapist, but you won't incarcerate the people that are passing these laws. Y'all deserve to go to jail. You ought to be prosecuted. For the people that's passing these laws, y'all need to be prosecuted, because what you're doing is violating people. You're violating people in another type of way. It's just another type of way. With that being said, you all, leave your comments below. Copyright disclaimer on the copyright, 107. Hey, this is for, critiquing, research, educational purposes, entertainment, and fair use. And so with that being said, leave your respectful comments below. This is public information. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to share this video. Please share the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not a subscriber. Thank you all to my new subscribers, and thank you to the ones that have been supporting my channel. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. And if you want to donate to the channel, you are more than welcome to do so. My information is there as well. If you want to support the channel, I would truly appreciate that, as well as I continue to bring these stories and as I continue to perfect, what I am speaking on. Everybody is different. Everyone brings their information in a different type of way. I am not like anyone else, and you are not like anyone else. You are already taken, so be yourself. God bless you all on today, and I will be back with you soon.